The winds began to rise before midnight. Far off the coast of Spain, in the deep waters of the Bay of Biscay, the HMS Captain, a newly built British warship, rocked and groaned as waves slammed against her iron-plated hull. She had been at sea for less than 3 weeks. Her design, radical and untested, was meant to change the Royal Navy forever. But now, in the dark hours of September 7th, 1870, as lightning split the sky and the sea surged into chaos, her future was about to end violently and without warning. She was top-heavy, unstable. But no one aboard could have known just how quickly she would betray them. By 12:30 a.m., the captain had already begun to roll dangerously in the wind. Her sails were still set high, catching the full fury of the storm. She heeled, once, twice, then sharply to port. Water poured in across the deck. A single rogue wave struck with force, breaking through a ventilation hatch, flooding the interior. She didn't right herself. Seconds later, she capsized. The lights went out. Screams rang out from the hold. Over 400 men were trapped below deck as the ship rolled completely onto her side and began to sink, pulling everything and everyone into the sea. Only a handful survived. The HMS Captain had gone down in under 5 minutes. She was supposed to be a marvel of modern warfare. Designed with a low profile, a rotating turret, and no traditional sails, Captain was the product of a vision, one man's obsession with bringing the Royal Navy into a new era. That man was Captain Cowper Phipps Coles, a decorated officer and naval inventor who had grown frustrated with the conservative pace of shipbuilding reform. He lobbied Parliament relentlessly, demanding a ship be built to his exact specifications, one that could stand toe-to-toe with any warship afloat. And eventually, he succeeded. But Captain wasn't built the way other ships were. Her construction was fast-tracked. Oversight was minimal. The Admiralty was wary. Her center of gravity was high. Her freeboard, the distance from the waterline to the deck, was too low. Privately, experts warned she was unsafe. Publicly, Coles dismissed them all. When HMS Captain finally launched in March 1869, it was already clear she was prone to excessive rolling. But she was impressive, sleek, and revolutionary in appearance. The press hailed her as a triumph. Coles basked in praise. By summer of 1870, she was ready for full sea trials. On board for the voyage were 34 officers, 472 men, and Coles himself. He would not return. As the storm tore through the Bay of Biscay, sailors clung to debris, lifeboats, and each other. But few had even made it out of the hold. When the captain capsized, nearly all of her crew were still trapped inside. The lucky few who escaped were tossed into freezing black waves. Some clung to an overturned launch for hours. Others drifted alone, in silence, surrounded by nothing but wreckage and bodies. When morning came, only 18 survivors remained. Among the dead was Captain Hugh Burgoyne, a Victoria Cross recipient. Coles, too, had perished, along with his dreams, dragged down by the ship he designed. The nation was stunned. HMS Captain had been a flagship of innovation, celebrated in the press, approved at the highest levels of government. And yet, she had vanished in a single night, taking 472 lives with her. An inquiry followed. The findings were damning. The ship had been top-heavy, with too much weight above the waterline. Her freeboard was too low, allowing waves to crash over the deck. Her sails, far too large for her size, had contributed to the final capsize, and her construction had deviated from original specs in dangerous ways. In short, she had never been seaworthy. Worse, her flaws had been known and ignored. The committee concluded that had HMS Captain been subjected to proper design scrutiny, she never would have left the dock. Her sinking was not an accident of nature. It was the result of flawed ambition, political pressure, and human error. Today, the HMS Captain lies somewhere in the depths of the Bay of Biscay, unseen and mostly forgotten. No diving expedition has ever recovered her. She remains a warning to shipbuilders, to governments, to those who put vision above caution. A warship hailed as the future of the Navy became one of its greatest tragedies. Thank you for listening to the Sunken Ledger. Subscribe for more true stories from the depths.